should just get Rich's question.
No, I'm good.
The question of wall-to-wall cities came up. I thought maybe you want to address that.
Yeah, my view on wall-to-wall cities is one, we largely made this decision about 60 years ago. With 16 cities, we can see where this is going. And I think all of you who become cities in the past have become cities because you know that on balance you get to drive your own destiny. You get to decide to chart the course of your economic development locally, and in many cases because it's actually cheaper. Not to mention that you get a voice at a table like this, which is no small thing. So I don't know where Mill Creek will go. I think Ben and I agree on that. We don't know how that's going to come out. But one thing that I do know is that at some point things are going to continue to change. And the county, as I have seen it, being on the county council for 4 years and watching it a little bit longer than that, the county has resisted these changes so long and so hard and kept its head buried in the sand for so long that where we're now in jeopardy is all the rest of the unincorporated areas. If Mill Creek goes today, the county has no plan for how to hold the Magnet, Kearns, and Hopperton. There's no plan in place about how to create a 10-15 year transition plan, financially and otherwise. And the county needs to step up and have a readiness plan so that everybody is held harmless, or at least we do the best we can for the people who remain.
Thank you.
I sit on the council. Councilman Burnett has a group that many of you sit on, and it's to how to make special districts and fleet, and so they're dismantling that themselves. And so I have watched that, and I've sat on that committee, and as I see it, the councilmen are trying to fleet, and you know what I'm talking about. So they're special districts. So they are doing this themselves. What do you think about that?
I have my opinion. This is ultimately going to be what cities decide they want to do. But from my window looking at it, I think people choose their locally elected officials because they want to be able to call and bug them. And they want them to be accountable to their city. And so I think things like the Unified Fire Authority and the Unified Police Department are terrific because it gives cities an option to come together and cooperate regionally, to share services, to drive costs down, to make sure that they're coordinating wherever possible. But I would caution the group about these taxation districts. Because what that does is just like going to the grocery store, if you say, oh, I'm only here to buy milk today, and I like to buy more or less milk. That's a different kind of a thought process than if you go and say, I have this much money this year, I need to buy bread, bananas, milk, and cereal, and everything else. I would suggest to you, please do think about coming together regionally to share services and provide services together, but be cautious about how well and how long and whether you bind yourself into taxation districts that effectively abdicate your local tax responsibility and your authority over that tax bill, and start putting it into little silos that are pretty insulated and tough to get back. So that's just my view, but that's a decision that you'll all make for the best, I'm sure.
And I will thank you for your assistance at the state capitol during some of the discussions, because realistically, both of those districts are two-headed monsters. You have the taxing district for those who choose they want to go that route versus the B option, which is come in and contract from it, which again, the costing level doesn't change across the scale. So, as you go, as we want to have that discussion, I think you better be very careful because they can go either way.
That's the way I see it. I do think the good tools and the first set are the authorities with cooperative services, I think, really offer us all that we can use.
Sure.
So what we're going to do, or do you give me that?
Did you have
I, for one, am one that's very concerned about the municipal services that are sometimes offered by the county. We entered into a contract for dealing with our fleet management, and it was a great deal when we entered into it. But then it's raised 10% every year for 3 years, and most people keep getting these raises while we've not been able to give those raises to our people. And I have a problem with entering into these kinds of arrangements where we don't have any control over the costs. I'm finding with the Salt Lake County Library that we were promised a lot of things that they built over here, and we provided them with all the things that we needed, and that hasn't come about. So there's some major issues I have, and I'd like to know what your feelings are about the municipal services that you offer, or that the county offers, and what can be done to hold those costs down.
Thanks. I'm sorry for your experience. I wasn't nervous about that up front end fleet services. The rotation of vehicles and some of the models that we used, I've been a little bit nervous about. But my pledge as county mayor, especially for the municipal services, is that whether it's a separate district and whether or not you're on the board, please consider yourselves on the board. We're going to be breaking down, if you want more detail, I'll explain. Otherwise, or just go to markcrockett.com and under the budget tab, there is a month-by-month plan for months now about how we're going to go through this together. I'd love to have you involved as we break down each program and then each function within, so the buying, the selling, the appraisal, et cetera, all the different functions within fleet, for example, and then we'll together redesign those, and you will have as much leadership on that as anybody, especially how much people are participating. And I'm pretty sure, whenever else we do fleet, with my clients, we tend to find